Hello everyone, it's the 8th of March today. Happy International Women's Day to all of you. And today it's another Hair Kit vlog. And this one is very exciting because if you have seen my previous video about the Women's Prize for Nonfiction, you probably know that I have made significant progress on the few spots that I had left. And now I only have 5 squares left in the board. And there are 2 squares that I cannot complete yet. One is the new releases one because I have to read that kind of as the months go on. I have a plus minus 60 days margin, so I think I could finish that next month because that will be 60 days before my June release is released. And then the other one that I cannot finish yet is the award square because I need to read from every category, and I have read 6 books from the long list of the Women's Prize for Nonfiction, which I am pretty sure is going to cover at least 1 from the short list and 1 from the long list, but we don't know the winner yet, so I cannot complete that yet. And we also don't know the short list, so unless I have read all of the books from the long list, I could not have made sure that I had read the winner. So I'm going to wait for the shortlist to come out for that, and then if I finish reading all the shortlist, I would have read the winner, and that's how I'm going to play that one out. But yeah, those 2 I cannot do anything about yet, which gives me 3 squares in which I only have 1 book left to read. So this is what this vlog is gonna be. So I'm going to be trying to finish the last 10 years, and for that I need a book for 2022, and the book that I chose to complete that prompt is Tale of the Dreamer's Son by Preeta Samarasan. It's about people in a Scottish tea plantation in Malaysia in the 1960s, 1970s, and I think it's magical realism. It's quite a chunker, it's almost 500 pages. But I'm excited about it. It sounds a bit like a family saga sort of way, and it has a lot of politics of Malaysia in it, which I'm really interested in reading, so I'm looking forward to that one. In the Even Bigger Rainbow square, I also only have 1 prom left, and that's orange. I haven't read my orange book yet, and that will be We Are Light by Herta Bless. I cannot imagine a book that can be more orange than this, so I think this really fits. And this is translated from the Dutch by Michelle Hutchinson, and this is about sort of an ideological commune in which they all live very idealistic lives, and then someone dies there and the police thinks that the other people in the commune have done it, so it's kind of a murder mystery but with like a political tone to it, which sounds fun, and I have seen this in a couple of prizes, so it should be good. The last square that I have to finish is the Even Queerer Alphabet, and the prompt that I have yet to complete is the gender fluid prompt. I think I might have used another book for this, but I just don't fully know the difference between some of these terms, and gender fluid to me feels like someone that changed from one gender to the other, but could also be non-binary, and it's a little bit muddled in my head, so I just decided to go with recommendations of people of books that I know for sure qualify as gender fluid, and the one that I decided to pick up was The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. According to what this is supposed to be about, is a very cold planet where everyone has the same sex, and I don't know if like at the moment of reproduction they like become different sexes or they clone, or how does it work, but I guess that means that they like sometimes they change. I don't know, but I have seen a lot of people read this for that prompt, so I think this sounds good. I have only read one Ursula K. Le Guin before, and I want to read more, and I thought this is a perfect opportunity. I'm just gonna do it. So this is the one that I have used. I'm going to use for that prompt, for the Queerer Alphabet, and that will complete the 3 squares that I can complete right now, which is very exciting. And then technically I would only have to read 3 more books for the new release prompts, and in theory 1 book for the award prompt square, but I think I will probably read like 3 or 4 more, depending on how many of the ones I've read make it to the shortlist. But in other years it's about half, so I'm expecting about half, which would be 3 books. So it's very exciting, but this is what this blog is going to be about. I think purely for practical reasons I'm going to start with We Are Light, and that's because I'm probably going to go somewhere on Tuesday. Today's Sunday. I'm probably going to have to travel for the day on Tuesday, and I don't want to bring a chunky, massive book with me, so I thought I'll start with this one, and if I have to bring this one with me, it's not very big, and if I have finished this one I can start this one, and this one is also not very big. That is the logic of me starting with We Are Light, which, as I said, is for the Rainbow Square, and I will go through all of the other things I've read for the Rainbow Square once we finish this one. But yeah, I hope you're excited for this. I am excited for this, and I'll see you later. Later on Monday. I have been doing some shopping, if you want to call it that. I went first to the second-hand shop because I need some sort of summer jumper thing, because I only have like a couple of things, so long sleeve for summer. I didn't find anything, but I was also low-key looking for a dress, summer dress for Alex, because he has a few, but some of them are going to get small really soon, so I thought if they have something I'll grab it. And they had this summer dress which is super stretchy. It was €5, so I picked it up, and they also had these like short legging things for below the dresses, so I also picked that one up. That was €1, so very happy about that. But luckily I didn't find anything for myself, so I had already marked some things on Vinted, and yeah, when I didn't find anything there, I did get something from Vinted instead. I always want to check the local second-hand shops first, but if I don't find anything there, then Vinted is fine. Then I found a place to fix my watch, the other one I have, which is a little bit more my style now. I don't know, I think I lost half of the strip and stuff, so I didn't fix that. But I fixed this one, which is one that my grandma bought for me when I graduated from university, which is like, I don't know, 10-15 years ago now. But it's very nice that I have this working now and I have a watch. It was a little bit more expensive than I thought it was gonna be, but it was super fast, 15 minutes, and it was nothing exorbitant, so I'm happy with that. And then I went to Hema, which is this magical place that has everything, because Alex's like toy corner has been a little bit messy lately. I think she has a little bit too many things, so I want to organize it a little bit better. And one of the crates that I had there, I had to move just into something else, so I needed something to like store things in compartments. So in Hema they had this like offer that these crates, which basically you just mount like this, they were like, the more you buy the cheaper they are, and so I got 3 of them. This one is greenish, one yellowish, and a pink one, and they also had these like little things to put in them so that they're cute. So that's what I got for her toy area, and I think what I'm going to do now is like mount this there and go through her toys and organize that a little bit. Before I do, I wanted to update you on We Are the Light by Gerda Bless, because I am on page 115, so almost halfway through the book, and I'm enjoying it. I think the writing is very interesting and very engaging. It's in a lot of places it narrates as we, and the we sometimes is different people. Mostly it's like the people in this commune, but at some point it was also the parents of the person that died, and it's not really a murder mystery. It's not like that much tension on that side, but it's very, I wouldn't say soft, but it's very calming in a weird way. So I'm enjoying it. I want to keep reading this, but as I said, I will do that first, and then I think I will still have time because it's only 2:30, and Alex gets out of school in like 15-20 minutes, but she has daycare after that, so I'll probably pick her up in like 2 hours, so I should be able to read some more of that as well. Hello, so it is Tuesday afternoon. I just came back from a place near Harlem where there was this exhibition for solar related business. It was more like an industry expo than a career fair, but it's still a good place to get a sense of which companies I might be interested in. And it was a lot of fun. I did manage to give a CV to a company that I knew existed, and they're very cool, but they don't have any openings right now. But we still talked, and it was a nice conversation. And then there was another couple of companies that I might be interested in, so that was a good place to be this morning. And in terms of reading, I didn't manage to finish We Are Light yesterday, but I did finish it this morning in the train. And this is an interesting book. I quite liked it. Each chapter starts with we are and a different thing, like we are the parents, we are the roommates, but then it gets weirder and weirder, like we are guilt, we are a pen, we are the juice maker, and kind of the idea is that each perspective gives us a different side to the main plot line. And the main plot line is we followed these 4 people that were living together in a flat, I think, and they had kind of made a pact among themselves, and like an ideology that instead of eating, they were going to harvest the energy from the sun, and so they didn't need the energy that food gives anymore, which is, by the way, it's a real thing. There are people that believe that and try to practice that. And at the beginning of the book, one of those 4 people, Elizabeth, has died, assumedly of malnutrition, because you can actually not do that. You are not a tree and you cannot live from the sun alone. But yeah, so she has died and the police gets involved and tries to investigate what actually happened. And we do follow that procedure plus the ideas of these other people, these other three people, and the people around them, about this sort of philosophy, sect, whatever you want to call it, and how that type of mentality works. And despite this girl basically having died out of malnutrition, they still believe that they can harvest the sun energy instead of actually eating food. And yeah, I think it was a very interesting perspective to have in this. Like, the way of writing, I think, actually fed into the questions that you might have about such a kind of people. And I do know a couple that did try to do this as well. They are not dead. They ended up eating something. It's not like they absolutely don't eat anything. It's more of a, they don't eat to nourish themselves. It's more of a, they might eat a piece of chocolate one day and the next day they have a coffee and stuff like that. It's not like taboo to eat. It's just more of a, anyway. I know people that like believed in that kind of thing at one point, and so seeing this seeing this diving into such a thing was very interesting. And the cult mentality and all of that, I think that the we are thing that starts every chapter was interesting, but I do think that it did feel gimmicky at first at some point. But I do think that it felt gimmicky at some point. It reminded me a little bit of In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado, in the sense that it tries to get like a different side of things at every chapter. But I do think that the other book did better than this, in the sense that this one sometimes like forgot what was trying to do halfway through the chapter, it felt, and it just lost its meaning. But some of them were really cool. I really liked the one that was like the juice maker, because there was one of the people in the flat that really wanted to eat and was really hungry. And so we see like that desire for the juice maker, because kind of juices are almost the only thing that she's allowed to eat. So yeah, very interesting. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that that also completes the square for the color. So I want to go briefly through the things that I've read for the Rainbow Challenge to just close that chapter. For Red, I chose The Heart Goes Last by Margaret Atwood, which was sort of a dystopian about a world in which it's very difficult to get a job, and it's very difficult to get things like clean water and food and stuff like that. And so this couple decides to join this cult that promises that they will have all of these things, but there is some weird thing going on. It goes very sexual at some points, and I didn't completely enjoy it, but I read it. Then for Orange, I read obviously We Are Light by Gerda Blest. For Yellow, I put Kairos by Jenny Eppenberg, which was about two people in Berlin. It was okay. I really don't gel with her writing, to be honest, but I read it and it's yellow. For Green, I chose to put Hollowpox by Jessica Townsend, which is the third book in the Nevermore series, and I really like the series. Hollowpox follows sort of a pandemic situation and the prejudices of people. Very interesting. Then for Teal, I used Salt's Law by Julia Armfield, which is a collection of short stories. I really like Julia Armfield's writing. and her airiness and atmosphere, but yeah, short stories, so it was okay. For light blue, I used Migrations by Charlotte McConaughey, which is a dystopian in which all animals in the world are almost dead, and we follow two different people in a boat following this last migration of birds and what is happening to all of it. It also has like a murder mystery side of things to it, and I thought it was very well done. I don't think it was as deep as I wanted it to be, but I think it was very well done nonetheless. For blue, I used House of Day, House of Night by Olga Tokarczuk, because what's more blue than a Fitzcarraldo editions? And this one is not quite short stories, but it follows like snippets of the lives of different people in this one town. It reminds me a little bit of Flight, so if you like that, you will probably like this, and if you didn't, you probably wouldn't like this. I didn't like it as much as Flight, because I think the topics that it touched on were not as in tune with me, but I think still is very good, and Olga Tokarczuk is a very interesting writer. Then for purple, I used The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers, which is not the most purple book you can ever read, but I had a lot of issues finding a purple book that I wanted to read. So this is going to count, because I think if you look at that cover, you either say it's black or purple, so it's gonna count. And I really like this one. It's the fourth book in the Wayfarer series, and it mainly follows, like, in this planet there were 5 different people that got kind of stuck there because of a meteor thing going on, and we kind of follow their interactions with each other, and it's very wholesome and very cute, so I really liked it. And then for pink, I used The Beginning Comes After the End by Rebecca Solnit, which is a collection of essays about the current situation of the world. And I liked it, but some of the things were very obvious and not deep enough, and some of the things... Rebecca Solnit seems to be one of those, like Anna Ernaux or Jenny Eppenberg. I agree with what they're saying, but I just am not attracted to the way that they say it. Then for black, I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab. And this follows Addie LaRue, who was born in France in the 1700s, but she's kind of immortal. So there is a timeline back then and a timeline sort of in the present. It's like 2015 or something. I thought it was okay. Then for white, I read The Wild Remedy by Emma Mitchell, which is a non-fiction, and each chapter is for a different month, and it kind of follows the different nature that occurs at every month of the year, and like the observations and the photos and the pictures that she drew based on the nature of every month, and like trying to be more in tune with nature and the way it changes and the way it's fascinating, and also because the author was struggling with depression, and interacting in this way with nature was a way to help her deal with her mental health. Then for gold, I chose Universality by Natasha Brown, which again is probably more black than gold, but it has a gold bar in the front, so I think that really counts. And yeah, this was about like a murder that happened with a gold bar while someone was trying to take that gold bar, and it's kind of a commentary on capitalism and the current situation with that. I thought it was less poignant than The Assembly by Natasha Brown, but it still was good, but I don't think it made as much as a mark, or I will like think about this for very long. And then the last one, the multicolor one, I read You Dream of Empires by Alvaro Enrique, and this was a fun book. This is like a retelling of the Incan Empire meeting was it the Incan or the Mayan? I think it was the Mayan. The Mayan Empire meeting the Spanish people from the point of view of the Mayans, the Moctezumas. side of things. So Moctezuma is actually shown as a bit of a drunkard, if you will. Not exactly, but they have this opioid that he takes and he's always a little bit out of it. And then he meets the Spanish, which apparently smell really bad, and it's kind of like the interaction and the way that things went from that point of view. And I thought it was very nice and very fun, and I would recommend. And those are all the books that I used for the rainbow prompt. So I'm glad that's finished, and now I have started in the train The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. I'm only 46 pages in, so about a fifth of the way through. I like that this book is like an actual pocket book that I can actually fit in my pocket. But in terms of the story, I'm still not way in enough to tell you anything significant about it. But the writing of Ursula K. Le Guin is very dense and very dark. So I'm reading this quite slowly, and I knew that I have read another Ursula K. Le Guin. I also struggled with the writing a little bit. But I do want to read it because her ideas all sound so good, and I'm always sad that I cannot enjoy them as much because the writing is so thick. But yes, I will continue reading this. I think I'm also going to, maybe today or maybe another day, go through the companies that I have marked in my list of companies for this event and see if I can contact them. And yeah, try to figure out if they have any position available that I might be able to fill in. But that might be for today or maybe for another day. It's almost 2 p.m. now, and I have just made my lunch. I made some tofu with kale. Nothing super exciting, but yeah, that's my lunch. And after that I will read a little bit more. If I have time, maybe check some of the companies. I really don't like looking for jobs, but it's what one has to do sometimes.
Hello everyone. So it's Thursday morning. I just dropped Alex to school, and I wanted to update you because I finished The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin yesterday night, and I didn't expect to read this pretty much all yesterday, but Alex was tired. She took a nap, so I had some extra time. And this follows this person that is kind of left stranded in this planet that is like at the edges of the galaxy, if you will. It's a very cold planet, and all the people in it are gender neutral until they reach the point in which they have to procreate, and then their body kind of changes into either male or female. And if there is someone else that is, let's say, heated around them, they will become the other gender, and then that's how they procreate. And it seemed like it was kind of an experiment at some point that ended up just in this like edge planet, and yeah, we kind of follow this person kind of finding out about all of this when he lands in this planet, and how he left, and like the circumstances of certain things. I think this is part of a bigger series, but you can read it on its own. And I found the writing quite difficult. I think the writing is very heavy and it's not flowing very well. So it is a little bit of a chore to get through it. But when I was in it, there were some very interesting points and some very interesting conversations about certain things, especially gender, but also being like a marginalized group and stuff like that. So this is one of those authors, I think, for me, that I like her ideas more than I like the actual execution of the book. Not because it's bad, but because the writing style is just not something that works for me. But I read it, and it counts for the challenge, which means that I have completed now the queer alphabet challenge. And so I'm going to go through the books that I chose for each. I hope you cannot hear that. There is like construction right outside my house. I cannot do anything about it. But anyway, for gay, I used The Ministry of Time by Kylan Bradley. And this was
So this is about sort of a company that what they do is they go back in time and they save people that were about to die so that they don't affect the time continuum thing. They save them and they bring them to present time, and then there is these people in present time that their job is to live with these old people and kind of teach them about the world today and the technology today and make them adapt to the technology today. And it is, for a lot of the book, it is unclear why they're doing this, why they're bringing these people back. But yeah, the main focus of the book is about the relationship between the old time people and the present time people, and one of them is gay, so I used it for this prompt. The book was okay. I think I missed the point. I don't think there was much of a point to it, so that was my grapple with it. For lesbian, I used Private Rights by Julia Armfield. Julia Armfield is very good at writing stories of lesbian characters, but not focus on the lesbian side of things, but more of on a bigger plot or like unsettling aspect of things. She writes atmosphere really well, and this is about three sisters, and there is some sort of like mystery about their dad, because he treated them very differently and very weirdly in some ways, and they're kind of finding out after he dies what he was all about. And at the same time there is this like flood slowly building up in this world, and one of the sisters happens to be gay, happens to be lesbian, so I use it for this prompt. I like this book. I like Our Wives Under the Sea more. I think this one, the pacing of the book was a little bit off, and the plot was not as engaging as Our Wives Under the Sea. I think that one did a better job on the slow progression, made a lot more sense for that one, but I still liked it. For bi, I used The Invisible Lives of Adi LaRue by V. Schwab, because Adi LaRue is bi, as far as I understand. Yeah, I have already talked about this one in the color square, because I also used it for the color, so I'm not going to talk about that much. Then for trans, I used We Are Green and Trembling by Gabriela Cabezon Camara, which was longlisted for the International Booker, which was very exciting. But this one is about, it's set in the old days, and it's about this Spanish conquistador that is trans and goes to the new world, let's say, trying to kind of rebuild his life, and he adopts these two girls, local girls, and it's about colonialism a lot, and I really liked it. I always enjoy Gabriela Cabezon Camara. Then for intersex, I use Sorrowland by River Solomon. The author is intersex, and also this book has a couple of characters that are also intersex, and it's about this girl that kind of is born into a sort of cult or commune, and she's forced, when she's around 16, she's forced to procreate for the leader. She has twins, but she doesn't believe in this commune, so she lives for a number of years in the forest. So the twins are very wild. They've never worn shoes or like been in the company of other humans and other than their mother, so they're quite wild. But at some point she needs to run away because someone is chasing her, so she goes to a different place, and it's kind of them getting used to living in society, and also about her own changes in her body that she's noticing and she's very unsettled about. I thought it was interesting, a little bit too dark for me, a little bit too horror-y, but that's my personal preference. Then for asexual, I used Endling by Maria Reva, and this was a very interesting book. So it follows 3 women. One of them is a researcher. She researches this very special kind of snail in Ukraine, and she makes the money for her research through this like dating of there are apparently it's a big business in Ukraine to have like dating agencies that specialize on more Western men, or like American or more Western European, going into Ukraine to get girlfriends that are supposed to be more submissive and traditional, and she's not interested in sex or marrying or anything at all, but she knows she's pretty and she wants money to do her research on snail, which is the only thing that she cares about. So she dates these men so that she can make money for her snails. And then there are other two girls that also work in that industry and resent it a lot, and there is sort of a mystery with their mother. And so at some point, somehow these three women end up in this group with this group of men that have come for this dating business, and they kind of kidnap them almost accidentally, and we follow that story, and then kind of at the middle of the book the war in Ukraine breaks in Ukraine, and then it becomes very meta because that happened while the author was writing the book, and so she was just writing this book about the dating industry in Ukraine, and all of a sudden the war broke out, and so she had to include that in the book, and she explains that within the book, and it becomes very meta and a very interesting way to deal with that situation, I think. I really liked it. It worked for me. I know it doesn't. And then for polyamory, I use Evenings and Weekends by Oshin McKenna, and this is about a group of people in London, and they're in their 20s, I believe, and they have very messy lives, all of them. And so we're kind of following their messiness, and it focuses really on the relationships between the different people, and the sort of like the juxtaposition of living in London versus living in your own like little town, because London has a lot of people that have moved to London. There is not that many Londoners per se. There's more people, or like there's a lot of people that have moved to London from other parts of the UK and the world, and so it's that feeling of no one really belongs in London, but everyone kind of belongs in London, and like who belongs and who doesn't belong. There is also like a subplot about a whale that felt a bit like a writing retreat exercise kind of thing, and didn't fit at all. It was supposed to be like the thing that put all of these people together, but I don't think it really worked. But other than that, I think the relationships between the different people were very well explored and built, and one of the main characters of those people was exploring polyamory, because he was really into this guy, but he already had a relationship, but it was open, and they were kind of exploring that, so I think this book can fit for polyamory. And then for non-binary, I used The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers. In this world or universe that use non-binary pronouns, and they don't have any like gendered characteristics. So I'm using that for the non-binary prompts, and then as I said, for the gender fluid, I use this one because the characters in this book, in this world, don't have gender until they procreate, and then they have. So I think that fits with gender fluid. So that is the second prompt of this video done for me. I am planning to start this one today, Tale of the Dreamer's Son, which is for the 10 years prompt square thing. It is quite a bit chunky. I am going to try to maybe see if I can finish it within the working week, because I would love to finish this vlog within the working week, but I don't think that's gonna be possible because it's almost 500 pages, and I do have things to do today and probably tomorrow as well. So yesterday I kind of got offered a job that I'm not sure I want, but it's the only offer that I have so far, and it feels like I shouldn't say no if I don't have anything else on the backup. But that, yeah, it is 2 hours away from here. So I do have to call them and negotiate a little bit more, because the offer was quite low, especially for the amount of traveling I'll have to be doing, and also they are really not flexible and really not parent friendly. So that's another thing that I have to see how I deal with. So I have been talking to a nanny that might be able to take Alex to school in the morning instead of me, so that I can go there early. But yeah, it's a bit of a mess, because also Alex is like, it's doing a little bit better now, but she's struggling with school still, and such a big change is a big thing to do. And then there is also the I don't know, it's just a lot. And they say I can start as early as next week, so I also have to figure that out, because it will make sense. April is not a good month to start a job, because the first week of April is Easter, and it's like it only gets that, like, they have school for like 4 days or 8 days in April in total, so it doesn't feel like a very good month to start a new job. So I thought maybe it will be good to start next week, but then it's next week. It's really close, so I don't know. I have to figure all of that out today. And I'm also going to apply for some other jobs, because, as I said, I'm not super excited about this particular one. It's just the only one that I have at the moment. Yeah, so I have to figure all of that out. And I also got an email from my library today that my hold of Flashlight is in, so I can go pick it up. And I have also a package that I can go pick it up today. So I also have to do those kind of things. Yeah, so I do have some things to do, but I will try to read this as much as possible. This is a World Books edition, and in my experience, I don't know if they have like less words per page or something, but I think the formatting means that like it reads very fast. Like, I have read some of the other books I had from World Books faster than I would have expected, and I think it's the formatting that, like, it's making it fast, because there are less words per page. But still, it's 500 pages, so we will see how I do with that and how much I like it, and I will update you when I have anything else to say. I have been reading The Death of a Dreamer Song by Prita Samarasan since yesterday, and I'm not as far as I wanted to be. I'm on page 172, and honestly, I'm not enjoying it. Part of it is because I'm very scattered and very unsettled because of all the job situation. I did get a response today finally, and it seems that we are going to be able to reach an agreement. But yeah, still quite unsettled until all that is done and closed. But apart from that, this book is it's about sort of like a, not orphanage, but like a community center near a Scottish plantation in Malaysia, and it does deal with a lot of race and religion stuff, and all of those are things that I would be interested in. And the cover, I don't know if you can see it properly, but it's pretty beautiful, I think. So I was very excited about this book, but it is very fragmented. It jumps in time, it jumps in perspective, and that's not my favorite narrative style, and I'm really struggling to follow what's happening. Like, I'm reading and I'm not absorbing anything, and I just don't think I'm going to like it, and I have like more than 300 pages left, and I don't think it's gonna work for me. I don't want to read it, so I think I'm going to DNF it, unfortunately. I just, it's not working for me. But I have been checking because I don't have anything else for 2022 in my TBR, but one book that is from 2022 is How High We Go in the Dark, which I have read and have put in the BPOC prompt and on the readathon prompt, and the readathon prompt is too difficult for me to work out right now to how to manage that, but the BPOC prompt is quite easy for me to change. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nakamatsu as my 2022 book, and then I'm going to use The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer, which I read last month and I didn't count for anything because it didn't fit for anything anymore, as the BPOC author, because Robin Wall Kimmerer is an indigenous Native American amazing woman. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, which means that I have completed then the year's prompt without having to finish this, unfortunately. I mean, it's such a beautiful object, but it's not working for me, and I'm going to force myself to read another 300 something pages and not remember a single word that I read. So I don't want to do that, so that's what I'm going to do. Editing Paula here, I realized that I forgot to go through the books that I used for the year's challenge, so I'm going to quickly do that and give you back to the other Paula. So for 2015 I used The Natural Way of Things with Charlotte Wood, which was sort of about this group of women that were held sort of hostage by two men and like abused, and they kind of team up against the men. I liked it. 2016 I used Breakwater by Marieke Schermer. This one is supposed to be about this woman that has a perfect life, but she still struggles with things, and kind of this trauma that comes out in the course of this book. And I thought it was a bit over dramatic. Yeah, it was nothing too special for me. 2017 and 2018 I used the first and second book of the Nevermore series. It's a series in which this, I think she's 11 at the beginning. She's swept out to Nevermore, which is this magical place where she's supposed to enter an academy, and there are lots of quirky magical things, and it's very it feels very nostalgic to that type of middle grade books, and I really like this series, so I'm very happy that I read those. 2019 I used Soul Slow by Julia Armfield, which I have already talked about. 2020 I used The Once and Future Witches by Alexi Harrow, which is about this group of women that are reclaiming witch power in the time around the suffragists in the US. I like the idea that this magic doesn't come from like having superpowers, but it's just something that you build and anyone can build by following the steps of previous women and by learning. It's one skill that people learn, that anyone can learn. But the book itself, it felt a little bit surface level and gimmicky to me, but I did like the concept. 2021 I used Build Your House Around My Body by Violet Coppersmith, which is about, it's magical realism set in Vietnam. It was fine. 2022, as I said before, I ended up using How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nakamatsu, which is almost like interconnected short stories about this scenario, end of the world scenario. Again, it was okay. The style didn't work with me, but the parts that I connected to I found pretty interesting. I just didn't connect to everything that the book was doing. In 2023, I chose Don't Year Devotional by Charlotte Wood. There's two Charlotte Woods in this list. This one is about a woman that has a very corporate job and decides to leave everything behind to move into a convent in the middle of nowhere. And it's kind of about the hustle of everyday life and what happens when you don't. And I found the tone very conversational and very fun, and I liked this book better than the other one from her. Yeah, I liked it. And then 2024, I put Private Rights by Julia Armfield, so also two Julia Armfields in this list. And I have already talked about this one, I liked it. In 2025, I used Endlin by Maria Reva, which I also have talked about. And for 2026, I used Eve by Becky O'Connor, which is a retelling of the Adam and Eve story, basically, from a very feminist point of view. Basically saying, why would anyone put an apple in this garden and just make people not eat it? And if you eat it, even if you didn't know, you're punished. That's very sexist and very misogynistic of God. And I had fun with it. It's a new release. I read it also for the new release prompt. Yeah, I think I would recommend to check it out. So yeah, those are the books that I use for this square. I think even if we didn't finish that book, I've made quite good progress. I only have 2 squares left, and one of them needs the proofs to be in the right window, and the other one needs the shortlist of the Women's Prize for Nonfiction. So when those things happen, I will read those books and I will update you about those books, and I think we will finish this challenge next month, which is very exciting. And yeah, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time,